Hello everyone, I am Bradley Sward, Associate Professor of Computer and Information Science at the College of DuPage in Glen Ellen, Illinois. This video today is going to continue my series of Advent of Code. This is at least 2 days in a row. It's a new record for me making these videos. So day 2, and today I'm only going to do things purely in Python. I think I'm going to probably, if I make these, I'm going to do these purely in Python because Python is a weaker of my languages and C++ is what I'm most strong in. Python is a heck of a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing this video, or doing this problem last night, and here is how I go ahead and do the problem, learning how to be more Pythonic in my ways as I learn Python. Okay, so for part 1 of this guy, you have a file full of strings, and I have to parse this, and basically I have to, I'm going to use this string as the example. You have to go through and you have to say, for this string here, are there 2 to 6, inclusive on both ends, C's inside of there? And I can't. Let's see, 1, 2. Yep, there's at least 2 right there. That's good. That's fine. I don't know which ones of these are bad. Oh, I guess this would be bad. This would not be successful because there's 4 G's, and the range of this is supposed to be 2 to 3. So parsing is going to be the hard part here. I think you could imagine that if it, and I'm not an expert in parsing by any means. So if you know how to do this better than I can, please comment below, because other people have commented in my previous video, and I learned from that, and I love it. I love to be able to give back what I know, but it's great that you guys can give back to me as well and give me stuff that I know how to teach me how to. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I already have all the text into this file called pass.txt. So I can go ahead and open the file as file, and then I can say for every line in my file, I need to go ahead and parse. I'm going to need to keep track of a total. So total equals 0. And then when I'm done with the entire thing here, I can print the total out to see what the answer is. And I know what the answer is. So I have to reach that. At least I know. I know now what the answer is anyway. And so what I have to do then is parse at each individual line. And so for the first thing here I can say is that the line itself, I can say, I can call this parsed. And I can say take that line and go ahead and split it down with spaces. Because you can see there's 1-3 space, A colon space, and then A, B, C, D, E. That's fine. And so I can print parsed. There you go. You can see now it's broken up. Everything's broken up into the 3 pieces. And now I can say, okay, now I need to go ahead and say, I'm going to call it chunk 1. And chunk 1 is parsed 0. And I would not be doing this. I'm just doing this because I'm explaining things. Some of you just are here for the answer. You can go look at, but some of you are interested to see how to do things. And again, this is just how to do things in a short, it's already too early for me. Everything is here just I like to write shorter lines of code generally. Python is all about 1 line of code that can do a ton of cool stuff. So there's an impasse there. So, okay, anyway, so there's chunk 1. And then what I can do here is I can say the low version, the low value of this thing is the chunk 1 split with the dash, and then I just take the 0th element, and then the high is going to be the 1 element, and I can print low plus high to make sure. Once we have this, the whole rest of everything else is going to fall right through. Okay, good. So I have the values. The only thing is these are all strings, so I have to make sure I convert these into integers. And it's hard to see that just in the printout. You just have to remember that everything gets parsed as strings, and if I want to convert them, I have to do them myself. So I now have the low value. I now have the high value. So I need to know what letter is the required letter, and it's the same basic idea here. But instead of chunk 1, I need chunk 2. So chunk 2 would be the next one, the middle part of the giant parsed part of this. And then I can say, well, take chunk 2 and just give me the 0th character of that. There we go. And now that was easy enough. And now chunk 3, of course, will be this guy, and it's chunk 3. And if you want to, if you feel better about life, you can split off that new line character, but we don't care. The new line character is not going to cause any problems here. We can actually just worry about that. And so we should have, instead of being called chunk 3, let me just call it password. Because then we should have all the information that we need to push forward now. Good, we do. So we have the low value, we have the high value, we have the string for the letter, we have the string for the password. And so now all we have to do is progress through. How many times did we find the letter inside of that string? And then check to see if it's less than or greater than whatever else is going on. So what I have to do here for every character in password, if character equals the required letter, then I'm going to do finds plus equals 1. And if I go through the entire thing, and if the number of finds is greater than or equal to the low value, and the number of finds is less than or equal to the high value, then I'm going to say total plus equals 1. And what do I get? 582. And lo and behold, there is my answer, 502. There you go. Now you can fly away and run away. You have the answer to the problem. But that is basically how I wrote the code out. And of course, there are many ways to simplify this. I have this down to like 5 lines of code, like total. Like they're very complicated lines of code, but I have it down to 4 or 5 lines of code to get this thing working. So there is part 1. So now part 2 of this is, I want to make sure I don't give you the answer yet, but the part 2 says, oh, you've been doing it all wrong. And so what happens here is like, okay, because that happens a lot in the real world, of course, that you're doing something and people tell you like this, what's your password policy? And they're like, nope, sorry, there was a miscommunication. And you just scream at them. Now, in your head you do, because they wasted your time, because you spent all this time and effort for no reason, because you didn't do it how they wanted to. So what they're saying here is, no, the numbers inside here aren't like a range and how many. It's check the second character and check the 6th character and see if exactly one of them is the character that I care about. So there's an XOR operation here. And so this kind of simplifies. I don't have to check for every character anymore. I don't have to do any more parsing. I just redo this. I can kind of get away with this here and say get rid of that, and just say, and even get rid of finds in a way here. Let me move this over. I don't know where that formatting went to, but I can say here now, and for whatever reason they said that there's the 0, there's no 0 index inside of this corporate policy. So basically 2 here is actually the second character, because we normally us computer scientists, we work off a 0 base, right? So anyway, so what we need to do here is, I'll just say character 1 is equal to password at the low position. And then I have to say -1, because again, the 0 base versus the 1 base. Password is, the low value is a 1 base, and I got to convert it to a 0 base so I can find it. And I say 2 is equal to password of the high value -1. I think I'm doing it right. We'll find out. And if not, I'll pause the video, figure it out, and tell you what to do. Okay, so then now I can say if, and I'll put these in parentheses here, if the required letter is equal to 1, I can't type XOR, because XOR isn't exactly 1. It's one or the other, but not both, so I have to use the tilde here. And then I can say if letter equals 2, or XOR, and then I can say total plus equals 1. And let's see what we get. We get 729, and the answer is, lo and behold, 729. So there you go. And so I'm not going to bore you with how to simplify this necessarily, because again, I really did work this thing down. I was having fun. Like, what can I do to do the most complicated amount of work, like the complete opposite of my general mantra of simplifying my code and writing more code, but shorter lines of code than just the more Pythonic way. But it is fun. Don't get me wrong there. But anyway, so there's your two answers, 582, 729. We'll see what day 3 is all about. We'll see if I make some videos. But thanks for sticking along. Anybody who's at this point, thank you for sticking along with me as always. Have a great day. We'll see you again sometime soon.